So I saw a documentary called "Playing with Sharks," and it's about a woman named Valerie May, who was a championship spearfisher person in Australia a long, long time ago. She's in her 80s now, but she had polio when she was a kid, and the struggles she had to go through to walk again when she was 9 or 10. She just determined that after that she was going to go for whatever crazy thing popped into her head, and she wound up being a spearfisher person, and winning a lot of awards. And it was very much a boys' club in those days, Australia, rough and rugged. And she would just go out, and it didn't matter to her, and she would go with the men on the boat, and she would beat everybody else. And that went on for a long time. And at some point she got married to one of the guys, and then they started looking more at conservation versus hunting. And so she and her husband became these sort of poster people for conservation, particularly of sharks. And they were one of the first ones who discovered that you could actually swim with sharks, many varieties of sharks, without any danger. And they did a lot of documentaries in those days. And then they were also the technical consultants for Jaws. And everybody that worked on that film, including the author of the book, regretted, many of them are dead now, but regretted doing it because so many people were terrified of sharks after that and didn't understand that, except if it's a pissed off great white, it's probably not going to hurt you. And so she spent the rest of her time trying to educate people and doing films and work about, how really docile sharks are, and just hours and hours of footage of her playing with sharks, which is the title of this film. And so not only do you get the aspect of her conservation, but you also get her life. In her 80s now, she's still going to Fiji and diving and, hanging out with sharks. And, my girlfriend said to me when we were watching this film, I'll bet that they don't go to bed after Jeopardy. And I said, no, they probably don't. So at any rate, it was an amazing film. I'm going to give it at least a 9 and probably a 10, and I highly recommend when it comes out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we need to bring someone on because I think there have been 2 films so far that have not done well. Let's see. So yeah, now I find it interesting, but when Spielberg made Jaws, I think he was just pretty much thinking horror film at that point, or
right.
And it's interesting to see that that as that film blows up, just the overall ramifications the subject matter has, and and should horror films then be keeping these things in mind when they're being made, or are they just resting back on the fact that they're not ever going to be as big as Jaws was?
It could be that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thoughts about that?
At the time, he had only done Duel, right? Jaws was his second film, so he was like 20 years old. What did he know?